Hey Virgo, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. General reading, take what works, leave what doesn't. Check your other major placements if you so choose. Over on Vimeo, I'll be doing a love and romance reading over there. But over here, any topic is fair game. We could be talking about anything, work, friendships, relationships, projects, whatever. So we're doing a more traditional tarot spread. Overall for the reading, we have Temperance. Patience, gentling the energy while something happens. We have this intensity up here, maybe some intensity in your mind going on, maybe some intensity in your life, and you're being a gentling presence. This is basically the nozzle on the hose. So instead of being like a fire hose coming in and creating rivulets and erosion and all of that, you're going to be the mister. So the Mr. Temperance here. So you're taking all of this power and passion and intensity and you're creating a fine mist with it as a gentle descent. You're gentling the descent. It's almost like something's falling or something's coming in really fast and you're the parachute that kind of gentles the descent. And it will take more time to do it more gently, right? If we're getting the parachute metaphor there, yes, you can jump out of an airplane and it'll be really intense and you'll die when you hit the ground, unless you have a parachute. It's going to take more time to hit the ground though. I think you want that. So that's what this is. Patience, things taking the time they take. And this one in particular comes in with a gentling energy. Past, present, inner landscape. What's that issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. That's funny. So Leo got the Hermit in the same position, and I definitely see something that started out with great intentions, and then you're in this intensity forcing. This is interesting, despite having read a bunch of research on shuffling. So I did my 7 shuffles, and you still, nonetheless, got 2 cards that Leo got. So 2 of water here in your recent past, a deep connection, shared emotions, shared feelings, a very deep connection with some other person. This can have very much soulmate energy. Not that we have just one soulmate and not that we have a soulmate for our whole lives, but you've made a deep connection with someone and they felt that same way. So this card can come in as an assurance that this other person felt that deep connection as well. It was a shared experience. It was a shared space, a shared emotional space. There was intertwinement here. This is very Pisces card too, especially the way it's depicted here. I mean, it usually is a bit of a Pisces card, but we've got the 2 mermaids here with their tails sort of intertwined here. So the 2 fish, it is a deep emotional and possibly even spiritual connection. I want to say there's a sense of royalty here. And aging, spring, privacy. There was a lot going on beneath the surface. Maybe words were coming out of the mouths, but the connection was much deeper than that. There was just a lot under the surface. A very deep connection. In your current situation, you have 2 of fire. 2 of fire is coming into me today as forcing things. Our intuition was like, yeah, go this direction. We were very inspired to do something, or something seemed like a possibility, a project, anything creative, spiritual. We have this spiritual connection too with this 2 of water, but there's a sense of this 2 of fire of trying. It's like, okay, I'm going from here, I'm gonna go there, and then just trying to force it to happen. I almost see like trying to rocket off, like in a personal backpack rocket off, but you don't have the means to do this by yourself. You have silenced the naysayers, or the inner, I want to say like peanut gallery. And you're just going to do this and you're going to make it happen. You know where you're going to go, right? You had that vision, you can see, and now you're just going to force it. But the chasm's too great. So this is about Two of Fire, so that we've inspired action, except for we're outside the faith aspect now. We don't believe anymore. We feel like we have to create it ourselves. So there's a sense of like practical planning, but especially the way this Two of Fire is depicted, I see like trying to make something happen without the support. There's like this whole process you need to go through. But instead of wanting to go through that process, you're just going to try to make this happen. This could look like a connection. It was a deeper connection and you just want to, you've thought a lot about, no, I don't necessarily think these are, my brain wants to connect them, but my body is saying that they might be, they are connected, but they're not exactly the same story, even though we have two twos following each other. So, and then this Two of Water also, in the past, something may have been very cool. It was very natural connection, very normal, natural. I don't want to say normal because there was something very special and unique about it. So it's a very natural connection. There's like a cooling energy. There's like a flow to it. There's, I want to say almost like swimming in a lake together. There's something, there's a cooling vibe here. It's just very natural flow. And then Two of Fire, to me, has a sense of trying to force something, trying to make something happen. So where before we were in flow, in some kind of connection, be it friendship or romantic or anything, now there's a sense of like not really trusting the connection and trying to make something happen, and maybe trying to make it more fiery, or trying to even combat that natural connection with something else, something like this Two of Water has so much flow to it, and the Two of Fire has so much force to it. So I'm just getting a sense of trying to force a connection, or trying to force something to happen. And I'm not even sure it's this connection. I think it could be something else you're trying to force to have happen. And you're not accepting help. You're not accepting assistance. You don't want to hear anybody else's opinions. You're just going to force this thing to happen. And it's very hot. There's a lot of passion here. You're passionate about it. And somehow you think that that means that you're going to control the whole thing, when in fact there's like flow available here. So in your inner landscape, your hopes, fears, inner landscape, what you're thinking about, Four of Air. That's like just taking a break from something. It's not quitting. You might want to take a break, or you might be worried about something taking a break. Like if you're trying to make something happen, it could be there was a genuine connection and now it's like a little overheated and you're trying to make it happen. It almost reminds me of a car without like water in it, or like coolant or something. Like it's just like overheated, and we're trying to make this car go, but like we're out of oil, or we're out of like coolant or something. Like it's been going good. We've had a good hum, and now there's just like this sense of like something being it lacks the, I feel like it's across a bay from something. Like I just assumed that's what it was. Like you were standing across the bay from a city, looking at the city and trying to will yourself there, force yourself to some sort of city or some sort of place without any amount of faith in the process. There's a connection and you wanted to like cross this water, go over this water, bridge this gap. But the wires are getting crossed here. Something, it's forcing something. Anyway, moving back to Four of Air, where you're thinking about taking a break, thinking about maybe a little vacation, as it helps recalibrate. Thinking about, well, what's very clear with this Four of Air is that you've outgrown something, and before you want to put on the new skin, or the new, that sounds very Silence of the Lambsy, but before you want to put on the new outfit, just give yourself a little time to breathe. Like you outgrew something, that's cool, that's good growth, really good. That's not for you anymore. You discarded that. It's almost like you took off your pajamas and you're going to get dressed for the day, but why don't you just sit on your bed naked for a little bit? Just sit there and vibe with your own self for a little while. Maybe you'll change what kind of outfit you want to wear next. Maybe there's just a sense of having shed a skin and then needing to like allow yourself to kind of grow, to grow, and to expand a little bit before you grow a new container. Before you put yourself in a new container, you've left one container. And before you put yourself in a new container, there's a sense of kind of needing some space, needing to expand, needing to grow into the shape or form of who you are next before you select a container for yourself. So it's almost like a hermit crab outgrows this shell. It's like, I'm moving out of this house. But before you move into the new house, before you even pick out the new house, maybe you want to just kind of, what do you want this time? Like, it's almost like feeling like a breakup and then giving yourself some space before you jump into something else, or before you move in with or there's just, you're wanting some space between things, I think. You're really trying to make something happen though, but maybe you're second guessing that. And part of you's like, I just need to rest. And part of you's like, no, charge forward, charge ahead, get there now. It's now or never. You have to do this right now. And then this other part of you is like, can I just take a break, and then I can come back and do this? And that's the thing though. Sometimes we know that taking those breaks, the dynamic is different when we come back. It always is. So, the energy's shifted and moved. This Two of Fire, it looks like you're trying to force something, but you can't. You can't force something. You can't make something happen. And there's a sense of like, maybe I should just take a nap instead. Trying to make this happen and keep going and keep pushing. The Magician. Yeah, exactly. You're trying to make something happen and it's not happening. That's what the issue is. Wanting something to happen, wanting to have all the pieces come together, and they're not. Part of you is like, should I just maybe take a break? I think so. That's just my impulse right now. But the Magician, again, Two of Fire, trying to force something to happen. And the Magician over here, it's not happening. It's not going. I think because there's a sense of a lack of faith in the natural flow of things. There's a lack of faith in the universe to co-create with you. And that's the Magician card, is we're co-creators with the universe. As above, so below. I'm going to have this vision and I'm bringing it. I maybe have received a vision or created a vision, or it's a divine vision, however you want to see that. I have a dream. I'm going to make that dream into reality. I'm going to assemble the parts. I'm going to plan this out. But there's a sense, I think, of lacking faith that ultimately it's whether your co-creator wants to create that with you, whether that's the universe or this other soulmate person, whatever. Your co-creator needs to want to create with you. And there's no creation happening here. Even though we have 2 twos, you would think that we'd be able to create with this, but we have water and fire. So we have 2 elements that kind of put each other out. Well, water doesn't, fire, you can steam away, you can boil away an entire pot of water into steam and make it vanish. And you can put obviously water out with fire. So these 2 things are kind of canceling each other out. And it's like, you either don't have all the elements, you're trying to make something without all the elements present, or without any faith in your co-creator, or without any faith in the universe to actually be with you in this process, because you're trying to force something. But instead you're canceling it out. It's like the thing can't be forced. It has to flow. That's its origin story, is in flow, in water. So you can't force water to do anything. Maybe you can, but let's just roll with it, okay? You can't, this water has to flow, the fire has to go, and the 2 elements, it's like bringing force and will and passion to what was a very natural connection, is like putting the connection out. It's like canceling each other out. And you're not able to create something, even though you're really trying with all your might. But the Two of Fire always lacks faith to me. Then we have in your environment, the Hermit card. It's kind of sad, because it's like, here's the water card, and here you guys are connecting, or here you are connecting with someone, But now there's aloneness, and it's in your environment. It's not just like alone in your head. Like you're like, I was getting this, like you're single or you're alone and you're kind of wondering how long you want to stay here, because it is like allowing for some growth, and it is allowing for some I think deepening of the connection with yourself or something. So and so whether this is a relationship or a job or something, you're having to work solo. There's a sense, maybe you're on a solo trip, maybe you're, but you're definitely away from this connection here that you've had. You're not with that connection that you've had in the past. That's got a lot of flow to it, right? There's almost a sense of having been left behind, because you're both in this lake and you're both in this place. And maybe you've changed and you're not able to connect like that anymore. Or it could be just this, you're still sitting in this place. Reminds me of this hot springs in Colorado I used to go to. I used to work on a dude ranch in Colorado, and we'd go to this hot springs, and it reminds me of this at night. So it's this connection that it's not, you're not there. You're not connected with the person right now. You're not with the person. You're not with whoever you've connected with before. You might not be, this might be a time of being alone. Either you're on a trip or you're working solo. You don't have your team with you right now at all. And this is good. Your environment's actually forcing you to take a look at your own path, your own unique path. And you need to go on something solo. I mean, this Four of Air and this Hermit here together is like, you're kind of longing for a break from something. That's okay. The environment's going to give you a break from other people, at least, so that you can expand into your new self before you jump into another container. So in your to-do list is the Sun here, which is interesting. There's so much fire, water energy here, which you're Earth, so there's so much emotion and passion, right? We have these two watery cards, at least in this deck, this little hot springs pond lake thing, where there were two people swimming in the lake, and now there's only one person swimming in the lake. And then now we have these two on top of each other, two of fire, and then we have the Sun. We have the big fire, the big solo fire, though. I mean, we have these twos, and then we have these sort of ones. We only have one Sun. But this one Sun comes in, there's clarity here. There's clarity available. Maybe you're bringing the clarity to someone else. Maybe, right? Because here we have two of fire, but just one. Just do your part for the clarity, right? Maybe this is like dual clarity or dual passions. I want to say like dual exhaust. And this is like, you're only responsible for one of the exhaust pipes. So take care of that exhaust pipe. As far as like communication, clarity, happiness, you do you. Like maybe there's two exhaust pipes and they're just not working together somehow. And they're trying to force the bit. You're not responsible for the other pipeline of passion. You're only responsible for your own. So I feel like after a storm or something, this is your to-do list. So this is you be happy, you be clear, you have your own clarity. And yeah, there's like been some confusion and some fog here, but you're staying in your clarity, in your light, in your beam, in your place. If you need to communicate something, you're doing that clearly, whether the other person, there's a sense of not trying to sync up with somebody else or not trying to sync up with something. There's a sense of you being responsible for your clarity and your communication. And that's literally it. You know, a lot of times we want to like sort of ask permission, or, you know, we want to be respectful of people's boundaries and stuff like that. But this is saying like, what the message I'm getting here is you just be clear with your communication. That's all. There might be an opportunity, there might be something opening up, an opportunity for you to get clear. Whatever obstacles may be in your path could be moving out of the way. And when that happens, you're going to have your chance to sort of beam your truth and your clarity into a situation. Yeah, that's a unique message from the Sun card, but that's what I'm sort of getting here. again, it's matching this hermit energy where it's like a solo activity. And maybe it's with someone else or for someone else, but you're the one, only you making the decision, making the choice. Because you're not coordinating with this person anymore. It didn't work to coordinate with them, to coordinate communication or coordinate passion or anything like that. It wasn't working. So where, you know, your past and present are like connecting with someone and trying to make a connection happen or occur. Where you're needing to switch is just taking care of yourself and taking care of your communication and taking care of your, not trying to match something else, but doing right by you, doing right by your truth, and making yourself happy, basically. Just make yourself happy in the situation, because trying to do the other person's happiness for them isn't working. Trying to coordinate happiness, trying to match your moods isn't working. So you just do your mood and your feelings and your truth. And then where we're going, Elder of Earth. This is King of Coins. This is a deeply rooted space. This is someone you might be meeting who is a boss energy, a very traditional sort of boss. This person could be, very... Yep, it's executive, boss energy. It's someone who's taken the proper channels, the proper path. They've gone through all the proper, levels of the assignment or whatever, the proper... Yeah, I want to say they've gone through the proper levels. Like, they didn't skip any steps. They've gone through the proper levels, and they're very, like, rooted. The foundation of... There's something about a foundation here, like being a foundation. They are the ground. They're solid. They are what we build upon. They're the foundation of like an organization or a family, but it's incredibly rooted and solid and reliable. This person's very reliable. And they cannot be moved by the next wind, the next breeze. They're successful. This is they have a spiritual foundation. Oh my gosh, worms! Worms are very exciting. They're basically big tongues. They just taste the earth as they move through it. It's verifiable. So anyway, that's really fun. There's just like this person has used, I'm thinking compost, this person has used like what's been dished to them and grown from it. I like that worms are giant tongues. I mean, that's not the scientific understanding of it, but they're basically like taste wigglers. They're just tasting and wiggling, and that's all they do. And what is that but a tongue? All right, what are we looking forward to? Mystic Meadow Sanctuary. Oh, I like this, especially with this four of air, this sort of rest sanctuary, and this hermit sanctuary. And I felt like this felt very sanctuary-esque, this place. There may be a place that's important here. But a sanctuary, Mystic Meadow. And then we have, what else are we looking forward to for Virgo? Meandering pathway, flow. I like this idea that this Mystic Meadow, we have a rabbit here. We have like a fancy pants rabbit and like a robe. Meandering pathway, the flow, right? We had this flow come up here and here. Meandering as opposed to trying to force things, right? And I like the relaxed, both of these have such a relaxed, chill feel, like just, we're gonna meander on our pathway through the mystical meadow. So, flowing through the sanctuary or to the sanctuary. So a sense of safety and protection, a sense of easy movement. Nice and easy, especially this Two of Fire was just so intense and combative and forceful. So we just got this nice, easy movement through sort of a magical little place. I like it. I like it especially because we have this, the temperance, we have the flow, meandering pathway. We're gentling the flow of something, right? It was coming in too hot, too passionate, too intense, and forceful. And this whole thing is about gentling that, right? We're taking this, it's almost like, now I'm seeing this as like her receiving fire, not forcing fire, but receiving fire, and then bringing it down into just one very gentle pathway. She's transforming this intensity now into this very gentle place. And that's how I'm feeling here, right? And again, we have like the water and the fire here combining. And that's exactly what temperance does, is it acts as this like mixer for things that can't otherwise be mixed. And it takes time to do that, and gentleness. And this temperance is bringing this gentleness to this passion, to this fire, and bringing it down. And so we have this intense, intense sun. Oh man, this is so beautiful. These images are so beautiful. I love this deck so much. We have this intense sun, and then we have this like gentling of that fire and that intensity into a gentle, life-giving sprinkle, a mist. So I like that. All right. Well, if you want to join me over on Vimeo, you're welcome to do that. If this is all you need, that's cool. Enjoy your life.